A pale winter sun slowly climbed over the city skyline, but its light brought little warmth to the icy morning. On a worn-out sidewalk bench near an old bus stop, 87-year-old Alina sat hunched beneath a thin, faded blanket. Her fragile hands trembled slightly as she tried to wrap the blanket tighter around her tiny 4-year-old granddaughter, Leah, who leaned against her side like a small bird seeking shelter. The cold air bit at their skin, turning their breaths into tiny clouds of white. Leah's stuffed rabbit, its fur dirty and one ear slightly torn, was tucked under her arm. She shivered but tried her hardest to smile, because she knew her grandma worried. "Grandma, don't be sad," she whispered, touching Alina's wrinkled cheek with her warm little hand. Alina forced a smile, though her eyes glistened. She gently brushed a snowflake off Leah's forehead and kissed it softly. They had been living from place to place since a devastating fire had stolen their home months earlier. Nights were the hardest, but mornings like these felt endless. People walked past, bundled in thick coats and scarves, barely noticing them. Some stole quick glances, others looked away deliberately. Yet little Leah, full of hope despite everything, held her grandma's hand and whispered, "Grandma, I think today someone will help us. I feel it." Alina's heart tightened. She prayed silently, not for comfort, not for herself, but for the innocent little girl beside her. If a miracle ever came, she wished it would come for Leah first. The morning crowd grew heavier as the city fully awakened. People rushed by, businessmen checking their watches, students with backpacks, commuters clutching coffee cups. No one slowed down long enough to notice the elderly woman and the little girl sitting silently on the cold bench. But then, through the noise of footsteps and engines, a soft humming drifted into the air. It was Leah. Her tiny voice carried a lullaby, one her mother used to sing before life had changed forever. The tune floated gently through the winter breeze, catching the attention of a young woman passing by. Her name was Maria, a school teacher on her way to work. She had heard children sing hundreds of songs, but something about this one made her stop mid-step. It wasn't the melody, it was the emotion inside it. Innocent, trembling, yet full of hope. Maria turned slowly and saw them. Alina shivering under the thin blanket, and Leah's small hands cupped around her stuffed rabbit. A pang hit her heart. Instead of walking away, she found herself stepping toward them. She crouched down to meet the child's eye level and spoke gently, "Sweetheart, are you both okay?" Alina looked startled. Pride, fear, and exhaustion flickered in her eyes. But before she could respond, Leah answered honestly, "We're cold, but Grandma's trying to keep me warm." Maria felt her throat tighten. She removed her wool scarf, still warm from her body, and wrapped it around Leah's neck. "Let me help," she whispered. And in that moment, everything began to change. Maria led Alina and little Leah into a small cafe on the corner, its windows fogged from the warmth inside. As they stepped through the door, a wave of heat wrapped around them. Leah exhaled softly, almost in relief, while Alina's tired body relaxed for the first time in days. The scent of fresh bread and simmering soup filled the air, making Leah's stomach growl quietly. Maria noticed. "Let's get you something warm," she said, guiding them to a small booth near the heater. Leah slid onto the seat, clutching her rabbit, her eyes bright with anticipation. Alina sat slowly, her joints stiff and aching. When the food arrived, a bowl of hot soup, a piece of soft bread, and warm milk, Leah's face lit up. She dipped her spoon clumsily, blowing on it before tasting it. The warmth of the soup spread through her tiny body, and for the first time in a long while, she smiled a full, innocent smile. Alina watched her granddaughter eat, her eyes filling with tears she tried to hide. She whispered, "I'm sorry you have to see us like this." She lowered her gaze, ashamed of her situation. But Maria gently touched her hand. "No, please don't apologize. No one should struggle alone." As they talked, Maria listened to their story, how Alina had lost her daughter and son-in-law in a tragic accident, how she used the last of her savings to care for Leah, and how the fire destroyed everything they had left. Maria felt something shift deep inside her, a quiet determination. This wasn't the end of their story, not if she could help it. The cafe had grown quieter as the morning rush faded, leaving only the soft clinking of dishes and the low hum of conversation. Maria sat across from Alina and Leah, her mind racing yet calm, as if she already knew what her heart wanted to do. She watched Leah finish the last spoonful of soup, her cheeks finally warm, her eyes brighter. The contrast between the radiant child and the trembling elderly woman beside her stirred something deep inside Maria. Alina tried to stand, adjusting her worn blanket around Leah. "We shouldn't take more of your time," she whispered. You've been kind enough. But Maria didn't stand. Instead, she looked at them with a firmness wrapped in gentleness. You're not going anywhere, she said softly. At least not back out into the cold. Alina froze. We can't burden you, she stammered. Her voice wavered with disbelief, fear, and a lifetime of pride. You're not a burden, Maria replied, leaning forward. You're human. And you deserve warmth, safety, and dignity. Leah looked up at Maria with wide, hopeful eyes. Miss Maria, do you have a warm home? She asked innocently. Maria felt her heart crack open. Yes, sweetheart. And I want you both to come with me. Just until we figure something out. You're not alone anymore. Alina pressed a hand to her mouth, tears spilling freely. No one had spoken to her with such sincerity in years. Maria stood and gently took their hands. And with that single gesture, a new chapter quietly began. Spring arrived slowly, melting away the last traces of winter that had once felt endless for Alina and Leah. Inside Maria's small but warm home, life began to bloom again. The living room, once quiet and modest, was now filled with gentle laughter, children's drawings taped on the fridge, and the soft hum of a new family forming day by day. Alina, though still frail, had regained strength she thought she had lost forever. She no longer woke up fearing the cold or worrying about where Leah would sleep. Instead, she woke to the smell of tea brewing, the sound of Maria humming in the kitchen, and the sight of Leah playing safely on the rug. It felt like a miracle stitched together by kindness. Maria, too, found her life transformed. Caring for them didn't feel like a responsibility, it felt like purpose. She helped Alina with doctor visits, filled out documents to support their needs, and even began the process of becoming Leah's guardian and support. It wasn't blood that bound them, it was something deeper. On Leah's 5th birthday, Maria decorated the small living room with colorful balloons and baked a cake that leaned slightly to one side. Leah ran to both of them, her eyes glowing as she wrapped her arms around Maria's waist. You saved us, she whispered with childlike sincerity. Maria kneeled, brushing a strand of hair from the girl's face. No, sweetheart, she said softly, you saved me. And there, in a home built from empathy and second chances, their emotional destiny finally found peace.